If you can make me a co-host, I can help you
Welcome,
out.
fellow Toastmasters and guests. This meeting of online presenters has now begun. Guests, please note that in order to be a member of our club, you must be a current or former active member of Toastmasters International and have completed at least 6 Toastmasters official speeches, or alternatively, if you have substantial relevant presentation experience, you may apply for membership after demonstrating your abilities in a 2 to 3 minute speech delivered during one of our club meetings. All requests for membership are subject to approval by the members of our club. If you have not already done so, please change your panel to ensure it shows your name and role if you have one. Right-click and select Rename to do so. We have members and guests from many countries throughout the world. Thus, as a professional organization, we ask that you please be aware of language or word usage that may be considered offensive or otherwise insensitive due to cultural differences. Please note that we will be recording the meeting. Your video and audio contribution may be used for club marketing purposes. Also, please mute your microphone when you're not speaking. Please welcome our club president, DTM, Andrew Byrne.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Carolina. Well, we're wrapping up this year, next 4 days. Appreciate everybody that has showed up and been participating over the course of the year. I wanted to, we were talking a little bit about the fee structure that's changing. I posted a document from Toastmasters on the chat area so that you can download that for yourself and be able to be aware. The one thing that you all should be aware of, and many of you are, is the fact that there is, from August 16th through 19th, the International Toastmasters meeting taking place in the Bahamas, co-sponsored by District 47. Some of you are in District 47 and you may be aware of that. And I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware, because you can sign up for the board meeting, the champion of speaking competition, and all of those things for $55, which is a steal in terms of all the education that you can get.
You're talking about as a virtual attendee.
Virtual, yes, you can enter it virtually. If you decide that because it's relatively close, and we're making that decision shortly after I get my orthopedic follow-up tomorrow, Tuesday, is you can go down there, but the registration is a little bit hefty. It's like $1,000 for registration, and flights about close to $600, and the hotel will be certainly another $500 or $600. So those are a little bit more expensive than taking the option of virtual. But for a virtual club, you know, that shouldn't be too much of a problem, and it might be of value. You can get your folks together and jointly watch it together, and that might be very helpful for everybody that wants to do that. Plus, you get to hold on to it for a little while. In the past, we were able to hold on to it for a couple of months. So that I'd recommend, certainly. But where we are at this point in time is we're sort of winding down. We have a lot of accomplishments over the course of the year, and I want to congratulate everybody that's been doing all of these things and helping the club reach its points. Continue to do that until the last minute of the last day, which is Friday at 11:59 Mountain Time. Up until that time, your VPE, David, and myself and the secretary can continue to enter in your accomplishments to get credit for this year. And so we are very proud of everybody in the club. We think that we have reached out and helped everybody reach their goals, but we're always looking to do better. My hat's off to David in running competitions this year, and hands off to, or hands together for everybody that has made contribution each and every week and shown up here. And thanks for keeping things going while I was a little bit, you could say, under the weather, under the knife, that kind of thing, for the last several weeks. But that's the primary thing I just wanted to say. Kudos to everybody for coming, for moving forward, for being persistent, for having laser-like focus on their accomplishments and goals that they wanted to get, and working together as a team and a community. We've done really well. So I appreciate everybody doing that. We've had our elections. I'm going to check later to see if that's all been put into the system so that we get credit for that. I think we have, but I'll look at it later today. And I think those are the things that were on my mind. I appreciate everybody being here, and I got to turn over to David, who's the VPE, for any thoughts you might have or educational moments or.
Not really, not so much this week. Just finish strong, everybody, and we'll look forward to a nice new year under President Graham coming up soon.
Yes, and everybody, Graham is one syllable. A lot of people are break his name up into Graham or Groom. It's Graham, like the cookie. It's Graham.
Yeah, you can buy chocolate covered Grahams.
Right.
That's right.
Because he's so sweet. Yes.
S'mores.
Right.
I thought the cookie was 2 syllables.
Well, it's sort of halfway between the two. Depends on which state you're from. But yeah, I'm Graham. Sort of GRAY apostrophe M is the easiest way of thinking of it. But hey, I'll answer to anything. I'll even answer to, hey, you, so long as you send me, I'll answer for dinner. And I'll shut up now.
I think we are slightly moving off the track.
Toastmaster of the day, I believe, needs to take charge.
Toastmaster of the day. And if you can come forward, introduce yourself, let everybody know that you are the master of ceremonies. You're going to get this meeting going on time and well oiled. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Toastmaster Andrew Byrne. It's wonderful, and I feel like immense pleasure to be present in this online Toastmasters meeting. Okay, today I'm going to be the Toastmaster of the day. Have you ever felt butterflies in your bellies when you are in the process of peroration before 1,000+ people on a public stage? Else, did you ever felt perplexed when you have to give a handshake to a complete stranger and pitch yourself as a pitchman? Or else, have you ever felt like you are not able to control your kid who is messing up and trying to get back with an effective communication that the child understands? I think any of these situations would have come across in your life in the past. So, what do you do in all these cases? I think communication is the only means for making them to understand what you feel. A report says like 41% of the world across culture is terrifying or putting down the output because of bad communication in the public, irrespective of the gender, age, culture, as well as the position that they hold. If I have to say, communication is being measured. Yes, it is measured in a scale of communication effectiveness, which says like there are 3 ingredients where you need to follow for being an effective, confident communicator. One is the grace, the way that you communicate, the charismatic style that you follow during your communication flow. The second is the credibility, the information, the level of in-depth, the statistics, the figures, the framework, and things like that you inculcate in your communication. The third is the resonance, how effectively your audience resonate to your communication. Saying this, there is a kind of balance which needs to be maintained during the start of your meeting. Like when you start, you will have fear and anxiety, and when you end, you will be joyous. And the balance between that is the way that you communicate. You present the information. Queuing as a presentation of information is quite important for a confident and effective communication. Saying this, I would just like to have a tipping point. I would just like to end with a tipping point of connecting with your audience. Like the words will connect with the audience by only 7%, your voice tone with 38%, but your body language with 55%. Be an effective communicator, and that is what all the visionary leaders have done it. Taking over to today's session, I would like to introduce the topic of the day and the theme of the day. The theme of the day is communicate perceptively. Communication perception is achieved when a person is able to quickly understand, observe, and behave accordingly with the unobvious details that is present in the scene. The word of the day is trenchant. Trenchant is expressing strongly and effectively in a clear, concise way. I strongly urge the audience or the fellow Toastmasters to use the word and become trenchant in the way that you express yourself. Yes. Moving forward, let me also put this slide so that you understand what communication is. When you have an unorganized way of communication, the communication becomes like this. When you have an organized thought, like following the JD trick, like having a calm breath of expansion and contraction of your lungs, your communication becomes like this. Like you will be filled with all your thoughts and you will be able to express effectively with all the words and with the effective tone and the way it has to move forward in your flow of communication. So, saying this, I would like to move forward with today's meeting and proceed with the meeting. Initially, and first of all, I would like to introduce our timer, Graham Camps. TTM timer, Graham Camps, over to you to speak about your role.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. One of the most trenchant criticisms that speakers get is that they go over time. And so my role today is to ensure that we remain effectively within time. We have, for example, 2 prepared presentations, each of which is supposed to run for between 5 and 7 minutes. So I will indicate that with a green light at 5, an amber at 6, and a red at 7. The same with table topics, a green light at 1, excuse me, an amber or yellow at 1.5, and a red at 2, and for evaluations 2, 2.5, and 3. Effectively, the green light means you have met your minimum requirement. The red light means you have spoken for too long and should shut up. And so that's how I will indicate the timing, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Graham. Now, I would like to introduce our general evaluator, Carolina Remens. Carolina Remens, over to you to explain about your role.
Hello, my role today is to watch the meeting and lead the people who is helping to count the grants, watch the people in the meeting. And at the end of the meeting, I will give you my report about the general aspects of the session. Back to you, Kirtika.
Thank you, Toastmaster Carolina. Okay. Now I would like to introduce the chat monitor and watcher of the day, DTM Toastmaster Andrew. Over to you, DTM Toastmaster Andrew.
Thank you very much. The role of the chat monitor is to monitor what's going on in the chat. One, to make sure that everybody is very careful to participate in chatting and commenting in proper etiquette, which means that you're not doing it while the person is speaking, which makes it a little bit difficult, but it's something that we learn about to have proper etiquette when we're making comments on individuals and posting important information. I'm also the watcher, which is the equivalent of body language monitoring to see how you all appear on your screen. Most of us are dead center as it should be. Some of us, such as Marianne, are slightly off-centered in her picture, but that may be on purpose, and it has an impact as well. So just wanted to be aware that our lighting is pretty good, and we are all happy, smiling, and dead center in our stage, and I'll be monitoring how you're prepared and speaking using your body language, your facial movements, and hands. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Andrew, for giving a wonderful explanation about your roles and responsibilities and the way that we have to take forward and obey your roles. So I would like to introduce the grammarian of the day. Grammarian of the day is Mariana Grady. Would you like to explain the roles and responsibilities for us, Mariana?
Absolutely. Tonight, I will be listening to you. I will be listening to your use of the English language. Misuses and grammatical gems will all be on my list tonight. So wait till the end and I will give you my report. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mariana. Okay, now we are all set. I think we are going into the special moment of introducing and getting into the speaking session. Yes, the speaker is also there. I can see you. Madam Speaker Evie Hartman. The first speaker of today is Evie Hartman. I personally know her through Toastmasters as an energetic, juvenile person who always smiles on the screen. More than that, I'm looking forward for your speech. Over to you, Evie.
Thank you so much, Kritika. Oh, and fellow Toastmasters, and I am so tired today, and I am going to tell you why. It's a story that started a couple of months ago, but really it started a while before that. There comes a point in life where we decide to stop dreaming and start doing. And sometimes we even get an opportunity to do it. My dear friend Josh and I arrived at that point a couple months ago. For years, we had this dream. We wanted to create a video game, just a simple little video game. We wanted to say that we had made it. And if we did it, maybe we could do more. We just wanted to see if we could do it. And so, filled with nervous excitement, we joined the Indie Beginner Game Jam, an intense 1 week where you have to make a game on a theme in a single week. And at the end of that tumultuous week of countless eye-bleeding YouTube tutorials and cups of coffee and late nights and yelling into the void, somehow we pulled it off. And we made this quirky little platformer called Quantum Hop. Let's see if I can change my, is that gonna work? Is it working? Is it working? Can you see, can
We just have a gray screen so far.
all right, let me try that again. There we go.
There we go. Yep.
All right, so yeah, we made this cute little platformer. We didn't do this alone. We have a friend named Ted McCormick, and he's an actual game developer. And he actually spoke at GDC, this past GDC, if who here knows what that is?
Game Developers Conference.
Yeah.
We were seeing just a webcam icon with a slash through it for a moment there.
I just wanted you to be able to see the game a little bit. I don't know why it's not completely working, but you know what? That's okay. That's actually pretty thematically appropriate to the speech. Ted, this amazing game designer, decided to sweep in and give us the whole rundown of exactly what we needed to keep in mind. He was absolutely invaluable, and today I'm just pretty much going to tell you what he told us. Rule number 1, and really kind of the only rule there is, fail fast and follow the fun. So our journey began with this tiny little game engine called Pico 8. And it's this tiny itty bitty little, basically it's kind of like you're trying to fit a Game Boy game, just in a few lines of code. And you need to do all this stuff in a tiny little package. And the nice thing about that is that it makes you be really, really good at one thing. The bad thing about that is that it takes skill to fit a lot of things in a tiny box. So we decided to fail fast and put that directly in the fail box and use Unity Engine instead. Without Ted's help, we probably would have been beating our heads up against a brick wall the entire time. And Ted emphasized that we needed to make sure that we were working on mechanics we enjoyed. And sometimes you need a little bit more space to do that. We liked platformers, and so we made a little platformer. The second tip that Ted gave us was scope, scope, scope. One of the major traps for game designers, especially when you're beginning, is that you want to do everything. And I do. I want to do everything. Whenever I'm writing a story or coming up with a plan, I can fill pages and pages in less than a day. I can just write so much down, and I already know that so much of it I'm not going to do, but when you're trying to get a game out the door in 5 days, you can't do that. So being really good at one thing is hard to do, and it's really hard to do in 5 days, but he made us commit to that. And the last and possibly most important tip that he gave us for our emotions was to embrace the madness, that we were going to get mad at each other. He didn't tell us that until we already had, but that's okay, because he was there for us. Every time we came to him, like, he's not doing this right. I don't know how to explain this to her. He was there, like, just reassuring us that the fact that we were mad meant that we cared. And that was a really important thing to remember, because for me, it's really difficult to get mad. But at the same time, when I get mad, everyone knows that I am actively caring about what's going on. So the journey from an idea to reality is seldom a smooth one, be it in game design or writing or any creative endeavor. There's going to be the rapid iterations, there's going to be the scrap concepts, there's going to be your babies that you're leaving on the cutting room floor. And there's going to be a lot of self-doubt. Game design, code, all of those things, you fail and you fail and you fail. But as our good friend had explained, those moments of passion and frustration, if you're there, it means you care. And it's that emotional investment that ultimately drives you to create something remarkable. Not saying our little platform was remarkable, but I am saying that we're working on 3 more games now. And we never would have done that if we hadn't gone through the first one. And the lessons that I think we learned through our game jam journey extend far beyond the realm of game design. Just remembering that you need to be able to forgive yourself, you need to be able to fail fast, and you need to always keep at the forefront of your mind, do I want to do what I'm doing right now? Are the goals that I'm running so hard toward, are those really the ones that I want to do? Because you only have so much time in your life. We've all got a lot more, hopefully, time in our life than 5 more days. But by deciding to fail fast and follow the fun, we made the most of those 5 days. And I hope that holds true for the rest of our lives in the career that we've chosen. And I hope you too can take that wisdom forward into your own life. May your failures be fast, may your focus be razor sharp, and may you always follow the fun. Thank you.
Oh, Evie, now I understand why you look so young. It's because you're running in agile in a fast-paced industry. Okay, it's a wonderful retrospect of what you do. Thank you, Evie, for the great speech. Okay, now we'll get into the second speaker, get into the second speech of today. The second speaker is Andriy Smolenko. If I pronounce your name wrong, please pardon me for that. He is in level 2, engaging humor, learning your style. Introduction to Toastmasters mentoring. And the topic for today is what's in for me. It's a story about Vaclav, the fat boy, and the bachata dancer. Over to you, speaker Toastmaster Andriy.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. My fellow online presenters, what is the most important question in life you could ask yourself? To me, the most important question is what's in it for me? You know, what else that could be? Of course, I want to know before embarking on any journey in life, what's in it for me? The same goes to the mentor and protege relationship. What I gonna get out of that relationship? What is worth my time? My story began about 5 years ago when I was a member of a club in Manchester, UK called Didsbury Speakers. It was just an ordinary club on outskirts of Manchester. We meet up once a week, the usual routine, had a bit of coffee, tea, chats, and Toastmasters speaking skills were improving. I was a rising star. I realized that, wow, that was it. I could clearly see what was in it for me. At the same time, when I passed my competent communicator manual, I've done about 12 speeches, I felt excited. And then we had a new member in our club. His name was Václav from the Czech Republic. And he asked me if I could be his mentor, if I could help him on his Toastmaster journey. You see, at that time, for some reason, I felt I just didn't want to be his mentor. Well, the sense of pride I had and all the hard work I put into my personal experience, and that guy was just hard work. His English wasn't that good, and he just looked like me. And I didn't want to teach another me, really stubborn, taking it step by step, and just being a babysitter, really. No, I said, no, sorry, Václav, I cannot be a mentor. And just a few weeks later, after our conversation, I saw Václav, after our evening was over, cycling on his bike with umbrella in the pouring down rain. When every one of us got into our nice and comfortable cars and complaining about the rain and going, oh, that's English weather. Oh, again, I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it next time. And that guy kept on coming back on his push bike, pedaling for 40 minutes one way and 40 minutes back. And then I realized that there's something about that guy, something about me as well, made me wanting to help him. What's in it for me became a secondary question to me, because I remembered a story that happened to me when I was a teenager, about 13 or 14 years old, fat boy, a typical one, with lots of spots on my face, sweating a lot, and just being really, really shy, especially in presence of young girls. At one of the disco, I clearly remember as now, I wanted to dance with those girls. I just made my first step forward, and many of them, with the expression of disgust in their face, were pushing each other to me, saying, you go and dance with him, you go and dance with him. And I understood that at that time, they couldn't see what was in me for them. That was an eye-opening moment for me personally at that time. And I said, look, I had to do something about that. And I get back to Václav and we start working together. We work through a first year of his time at Toastmasters and in our club. And the second year, and the third year, and the fourth and the fifth. And we're still working on his projects. He has done his old style competence communicator. And I still go to his club and help him with his speeches when I get a chance. So it's working. And then one day, our relationship turned around. The mentor became protege. When my relationship broke down about 3 years ago with my girlfriend, Václav was there for me. He was mentoring me about things that could go wrong and could go right during the relationship. He has gone through it himself. He didn't want to let me go. He kept on helping me and answering my question, just being there for me. He even introduced me to so-called bachata dance. For those people who are not familiar with bachata, it's Latin American dance similar to salsa. The only difference is you hold your partner very, very close to yourself. And it's almost very intimate dance when you move with all your body. And then with bachata, your life could change. And it did. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are going to ask yourself that question, what's in it for me? When you're about to take an experienced protege asking for your help, or in any walk in life, I want you to remember a story about Czech guy Václav, the fat boy, and the bachata dancer. And more importantly, I would like you to remember that the relationship when you are mentor and then you can become mentee is mutually beneficial. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the evening.
Oh, thank you, Andriy. I think we are on time. Right now, we would be able to manage with the schedule of what we have planned. Over to you, Toastmaster Graham. I would like to know, or we would like to know the timer report so that we qualify for the next set of steps.
Indeed. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Yes, as you mentioned, we are now back on time. We had two formal presentations. Evie was allocated 5 to 7 minutes and spoke for 6 minutes 34. Andriy was allocated 5 to 7 minutes and spoke for 7 minutes 12. So both are within the time limits and therefore both are eligible for the Best Speaker Award. So David will no doubt put the link up in the chat in a moment and we'll be able to vote. But yes, they're both eligible. And as I say, we are now back on time. I think we're scheduled to go to table topics. Well, actually, we've got a few minutes to spare.
Great. Okay. Now we are into one of the special session, the table topic session, which is conducted by our VP membership, Kim Leming. Kim Leming, are you ready for the session? We are looking forward to have a wonderful table topics presented by you. Over to you, Kim Leming. And meanwhile, we'll have the vote for the speakers, vote for speakers, which is posted in the chat. I would encourage everyone to vote immediately so that we have a count of which is available on.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Krithika. Great job as your first time as Toastmaster of the Day. I'm really impressed. And tonight, for table topics, you're all going to become salespeople. I'm going to show you a picture and give you a general description of an unusual item. It will then be your job to sell this item to all of us infomercial style. The more trenchant your speech is, the better your sales will be. Please feel free to share your experiences with this item to help entice us to make a purchase. The first item for sale tonight give me 1 second here, is bacon bomb. So tonight, the star of this infomercial will be Jim Barber. Jim, let me get this picture up. I am so sorry. Here we go. I will take a picture. I will show you a picture of the item. Oh, this is actually what I wanted to be when I was telling you about table topics. So, Jim, your
Here.
item is bacon bomb. Take it away, Jim.
Thank you, Madam Topics Master. My fellow Toastmasters, bacon bomb. You didn't give me a hard one. Bacon bomb is easy. My gosh. First of all, even if I didn't know what bacon bomb was, if it was just bacon blank, fill in the blank, anything at all, people are going to buy it. If they're smart, they're going to buy it because it's bacon. You can't argue with bacon. Everything is better with bacon. You put bacon on things or you put things on bacon. Bacon alone by itself, marvelous. Bacon is one of the greatest inventions ever. And so we've got everybody right there. If I say, I'm going to sell you some bacon, right there, people are whipping out their credit cards already. They're going to buy it regardless of what it is. But then it's following, excuse me, we're following that with balm, bacon balm. I love the idea of balm. Balm is calmness. We're living in such a trenchant society. We're living in such a trenchant society that we need to calm ourselves down. And the way to calm yourselves down is with a balm. Now, I ask you, what could possibly be better than bacon balm? Incredible. It's the most perfect food item combined with something that we all need. We all need bacon also, but we also need to calm down. Bacon balm. It calms you down. It satisfies your secret desires for those guilty pleasures that bacon solves. So this was an easy sale. It doesn't matter whatever it costs. Whip out your credit cards now and buy your bacon bombs while they're available. And if you buy in the next 15 seconds, I'm going to throw in a turnip twaddler. Back to you, Madam Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Jim. I'm ready to whip out my credit card, like you said, and get a whole bunch of bacon bomb. The next item for sale tonight is keyboard jeans. So Dutch design student Eric Denige must hate carrying his keyboard around. So rather than use a laptop, he's integrated a keyboard into his jeans. But not only that, they have a speaker and a mouse too. These will set you back $250 for that particular look. This is called Beauty and the Geek Keyboard Jeans. This infomercial job is for Marianne Grady. Take it away, Marianne.
Well, Beauty and the Geek has the latest thing that you are going to want to have, and that is brand new, hot off the press keyboard jeans. Why keyboard jeans? Well, let's face it, who wants to carry this big thing around, right? If you have it right there, it's so simple. You just kind of sit back, look down, and it's right there. You don't have to carry a thing with you. No bag, no anything. I love it because you can use it with your phone or any other device. So it makes it very simple because let's face it, we always have our phone with us, right? Don't you? I do. So we want to make our lives easy. We want to simplify things, and these jeans will do it for you. And at a price of only $250, how can you afford not to get them? These are the latest and the greatest, and you must get them as soon as possible. Now, If you go today and get these things, we are also going to include the little monitor that you can put on your wrist if you would like. So that's free to you, no extra charge, just pay for their keyboard jeans and we will throw that in for you. So run, don't walk, and get your keyboard jeans from Beauty and the Geek. Thanks, everyone. Back to you, Madam Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Mary Ann. You made it sound like it's even cheap and everybody's gonna be running for them. So awesome job. Next up, we have the baby mop. This, you entertain your child while at the same time mopping the floor. What could be better? So the star of this infomercial will be Joni Layla. Joni, could you please sell us on the baby mop?
Parenting is so tiring. Do you have a little one that you've been chasing everywhere? Well, did you know that new moms actually have a 400% spike in cortisol rate? I have a solution for you. Don't worry about having to clean and mop while watching the kid. After all, you've had them, put them to use. Don't worry, it's not trenchant. It's important that we assimilate our children into housework. I mean, after all, don't we want them to have fun? And what's more fun than a baby crawling all around, enjoying getting everything clean while they get dirty? I mean, after all, if they're going to do it anyway, why not take one more stress off of your plate? Now, I know you're saying that for this price, I mean, after all, weren't we trying to get robots? But think about it. If they're mopping, moving around all day, guess what you don't have to do at nap time? You'll have tuckered out the little tyke so well that they'll be off to bed. Now, isn't that a deal? In one suit, you get a clean house, an activity for your kid, and some long-awaited R&R to kick up your feet, relax, and enjoy a good beverage. Back to you, our Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Joni. Another great infomercial where I'm wanting to whip out my credit card. Next up, we have the cutting board bird feeder combo. And yes, this really is a product. So starring in the bird feeder cutting board combo will be David Carr. Take it away, David.
Why, oh, why couldn't I have scored the keyboard genes? But yes, you need a cutting board and bird attractant combination, because when you cut bread, you produce crumbs. And crumbs are terrible. The crumbs get everywhere. They get in the little nooks and crannies of the cutting board. But if you combine that with birds, you bring the birds into the equation, you are self-cleaning that cutting board. Now, there may be some, bird excrement along the way that needs to be scraped off, but this is a minor detail. I encourage you to think of the practicalities. Think of the value you get by having not just a cutting board in your kitchen, but a bird, what is it? A bird rest, a bird platform. Birds get to hang out there, but the birds get to pick clean your cutting board and get rid of those nasty crumbs. Just a little bit of little soap and water afterwards might still be necessary, but that is a minor consideration. Make sure that you pick one of these up at the store today.
Awesome job, David. Oh, wrong screen. Let me get back up to the right screen. And I do not have the picture for this, but well, how are we doing on time, Toastmaster of the day? Awesome. Okay, so the next item for sale is a hamster shredder. It's literally a hamster cage, and the wheel, as they turn the wheel, pulls down the paper and shreds it with the shredder at the top of the cage. So tonight, performing an infomercial for the hamster shredder is Carolina Ramirez. Carolina, could you please try and sell us on the hamster cage that the hamster turns the wheel and shreds the paper that as you put into the shredder? Thank you, Kim. I'm not sure if I understood the product. It's like a hamster that cuts paper. Exactly. So the hamster is sitting, well, the shredder is at top of the cage. I'm sorry, I don't have the picture for this. And you put the paper like you normally went into a paper shredder. And then what powers it is the hamster running on his wheel. You know, the wheels that a hamster runs on in a hamster cage. So it spins, it produces the power for the shredding. It's difficult because I think that I have not seen a paper shredder in my life. Oh, it's a double complication to me. Okay, but I will do my best. Okay, you need a hamster that cut your paper because it's cheaper. We are facing difficult moments post-pandemic, and we have inflation in all the world, so we have to save energy, and we are having problems as well with climate change, and we need to be more sustainable to do and to manage all the duties, all the chores that we have to run in our house. So we have to try to consume less energy, and in our company, we are trying to solve this issue of climate change and the fact that you have to reduce the costs in your house using things that are more mechanical and don't use the energy in your house. And if you use a device that cut the paper in your house in order to have more private paper, more privacy in your documents, you need this device because the hamster is looking for a house. You can give it a new house, and this lovely animal is going to be your best friend, and it's going to help you to save some money and some energy, and you will contribute with the planet. In our company, we have many products like this, and just visit our website and you will see how we solve all the problems you have in your house, and we can replace your devices with our solutions. Back to you, Ms. Table Topics Master. Thank you so much, Carolina. Great job with a product you weren't aware of. I really appreciate you doing that. How are we doing on time, Graham? I see a red timer. Is that for me?
That was just Carolina's. You have time for one more.
One more. Okay. So let me, oh, it's not letting me move this. Okay, let me just pick one. I was trying to get the picture up for you. So the next item for tonight is taste enhancing forks. These are forks that have a little hole above where the actual fork is, and you put a little you put oil on a little disc, And then what happens is then you are smelling whatever it is you want to, whatever flavor of smell you decide on, and it supposedly makes your food taste way better. So for tonight, for the taste enhancing forks, this, let's see, who has not done it? Graham, you haven't done one yet, have you?
Not
So
yet.
Graham Carnes, take it away on the taste enhancing forks.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests, you may or may not be aware that the olfactory nerves are a major contributor to the way that we taste food. Here's a trial that I'd like you to experiment with. I want you to cut up a piece of apple and a piece of pear and then put a peg on your nose. I defy you to tell me the difference between the apple and the pear until you take the peg off, and then the difference in the smell will tell you which is an apple, which is a pear. Well, sometimes we have foods which, quite frankly, we know are good for us. Lettuce, for example, but we know that they have no taste. They are boring. With the taste enhancing fork, you can place, for example, bacon balm on your fork, and you can have lettuce that tastes like bacon. You will be astounded. You will want to tell everybody about these, how good they are. In fact, you will type on your legs how good they are so that your friends will know with your wearable jeans. You will be astounded. Of course, you'll probably make a mess because the oil could drip out, but that's all right. You have a baby mop to try and wipe up all the mess that you're leaving there. If necessary, you can put the baby on the cutting. No, we don't want to do that. And we definitely don't want to have the hamster being shredded, but a hamster-powered shredder would shred the lettuce, which you can then eat with the bacon balm, and it would add the flavor. There is so many opportunities with this flavor-enhancing fork, Madam Toastmaster. I ask you, please get out your credit card. Get it out now. Join us in the taste revolution of the taste-enhancing, oil-powered, bacon-smelling fork. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Graham. Wowza. We had like 6 infomercials in one. Excellent job. And thanks to all of our participants today on Table Topics who showed us great examples of how to communicate effectively with their trenchant speeches and infomercials. So with that, I will hand it back to the wonderful Toastmaster of the Day, Karthika.
Thank you, Kim Laning, Toastmaster Kim Laning, for bringing out such a wonderful table topic. So I can see a lot of pitchmans here, and audience, please vote for them. I would like to see who is the winning pitchman in the session. So over to the next session, like we will have the general evaluation on today's session. Meanwhile, the table topic speaker vote is on in the chat. Please move ahead. This, to my personal feeling and request, this particular session of commercial could be released as an info commercial. It was so perfect. I loved it. Thank you, Kim Laning, once again. Over to you, General Evaluator Carolina. I would like to hear from you the general evaluation of today's session.
Thank you, Kirtika. Now it's time for feedback, and your fellow Toastmasters are going to help you to improve. And I would love to hear the first evaluator of this evening. He's Mr. Jim Barber, and he's going to evaluate Evie's speech. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. And of course, I'm trying to pull Evie up here if I can. She's not showing. Technology once again. Okay, never mind. I had a great screenshot of Evie, but we're just going to have to use our imaginations. Anyway, Evie, I was so looking forward to this presentation because if there was one word to describe you, I would say it is dynamic. It doesn't matter what you do, whether you speak, whether you're Toastmaster, whatever role that you have. And I suspect outside of Toastmasters, just as a general human being, you are a dynamic individual. And so it was interesting, excuse me. It was interesting that you started your presentation by explaining that you were tired. And you didn't just say you were tired, you actually conveyed that in your expression, in your demeanor, which was very interesting because it's normally somebody who's tired, you get that overwhelming tired feeling, but this was a dynamic tiredness. We saw it was a contradiction, but they both came through and it did it very, very nicely. I had no doubt that you were tired, and yet your inner dynamism came through. That was just so well done. You described developing a video game, a computer game, in 5 days' time. I personally related to that so well, but that brought back college memories when I did the same sort of thing. We were restricted in memory because that was the biggest the computers were at that time. And so trying to devise an operating system in 16K bytes of memory, it was tricky, and I spent many a sleepless night trying to get that sort of thing working. So I can certainly commiserate with what you were going through. I like the way that you described the 3 lessons there. I think I had them down here. First, I love this one: fail fast and follow the fun. Whoa, that was good. Second one, scope, scope, scope. And third one, embrace the madness. That was so descriptive of what you went through, and it was something that it just captured everything that you were talking about. I have a couple of suggestions for you in that direction. First of all, I love you brought those 3 things, you mentioned them at the end. You said these are 3 things that I learned. It would have been stronger if you could have emphasized that these were life lessons, not just applying to what you'd done over the last few days, but something that would apply to in everyday life. Embrace the madness, fail fast, and follow the fun, that sort of thing. The other thing is, very quickly here, you didn't look at the camera as much as you could have. Many times you were looking off to the side. I think it was probably at your computer screen. And again, you glanced at the camera. You need to make a point of looking at the camera more. And that's basically it, though. This was a terrific presentation. I look forward to your next one.
Thank you very much, Jim, for that evaluation. And the second evaluator is Joni Laidlaw. She's going to evaluate Andriy Smolenko's speech. Welcome, Joni.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Andrew, I liked your use of graphics. No, it's always fun, and it's the one thing that we can do in this space to enhance our speech. And I like how you popped up pictures of your protege, as well as that not so fit. I liked your pace and your tone. And I always say that, and you brought it out in your speech as well, whenever there is an accent, depending on how fast you go, you might miss it. So I liked how you utilize your words in order to bring across your point. What would I suggest to make your speech better? Now, I know that technology can be trenchant, just like some females, if they don't want to dance with you, may be perceived as. And unfortunately, I fell off during the course of your speech. I was, however, wanting to know if, like me, when you speak, you took a tangent and another tangent, or you were trying to demonstrate the whipping of, this was how I related to my protege. You see, I might have been a fat kid, and how I relate to him was, he was on a bicycle while everybody else was in a car, and I could see his struggle based on mine. Or was it you got a mentor that helped you with the weight, and that's how come when you were standing beside him, you were all slim, trim. So you realize that when you get there, you need the help. Those kind of things for brains like mine, you say, I'm already adding to your story. And I might head somewhere that you really don't want me to head with your story. So I would suggest that if you're going to, like me, go on a tangent, because, and I have to do it this way, you have to have context, because if you don't have the context, because you started from little Andriy, right? And then you have to see when you're growing up. So I have to get all of it. And if you don't put it in there, then people won't understand. Had to do that very quickly. Based on that, you still have to go back, because then I will lose direction and start adding to your speech, and that may make you lose impact. Overall, though, I did see why starting the protege experience with a whiffing. Usually I go the opposite way. What's in it for the person that I'm going to be mentoring? And I like the fact that your experience was based from a mentor's perspective, because after you've done this a few times, believe me, we're kind of tired of hearing about you as a protege. So I like the new angle that you took. I like the information that you implemented. But what I would ask next time is, so that my brain doesn't get all on that train wreck headed down the road of putting things into your speech, that if you detour, just come back and provide me with an overall view of how the parallel brought in your whiffings. Great speech. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Joni, for your great evaluation. Now it's time to listen to the other people who is helping this meeting today. And the first person is the grammarian. And our grammarian today is Marianne Grady. Welcome, Marianne, with your report.
Well, thank you so much, Carolina. So happy to be here. And I have your grammarian report, and I'm just going to run through it quickly. Andrew Byrne used the phrase laser-like focus. Krithika said, I loved your analogy with the 3 ingredients for speaking, grace, credibility, and resonance. Excellent word of the day, trenchant, very applicable to us as communicators. So I really enjoyed that word, and it was used by Graham, Jim, Kim, and Joni, and I'm sorry if I missed anybody. Krithika, I wanted to point out that you said present the information, and a present is a gift. When you're putting forth information or doing a speech is a present. It has a different emphasis. So I just wanted to let you know about that. Evie, quirky little platform. Babies left on the cutting room floor. Fail fast, follow the fun. Andriy, rising star. Expression of disgust. And that was great with the face you made right along with it. And I really liked your sentence, they couldn't see what's in it for them and me. Jim Barber, everything tastes better with bacon. Joni, tuckered out the little tyke. And Graham, you will be astounded. Krithika, you said, who's winning the Pitchman contest? And that was, on your feet, that was great. Jim, you were so funny with dynamic. As a general human being, you are a dynamic person. And then you went dynamic tiredness and the inner dynamicism. And I don't believe that's a word, but I like it. And you're one of those people who makes up words and goes with it. And I do that too. So I appreciate you. That's all I have for today. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Marianne. Before continue, I would like to ask our timer, Graham, if both evaluators are qualified.
Yes, indeed, they both qualified. Their times are in the chat. Jim was 3:23, Joni was 3:10.
Thank you very much. Remember to vote for your favorite evaluator. And at the end of the meeting, our vote counter will announce the winners. And Andy, you have a double role today, watcher and chat monitor. Would you like to give us your report?
Absolutely. First, the watcher role. Everyone did really well with the lighting and frames of their pictures. You were able to see everyone's faces clearly, see their facial expressions, which became important during the speeches. People were using their faces very appropriately, and people like Joni added to those facial expressions with motion and vocal dynamicism. Great vocal variety. So we appreciate the ability to generate the enthusiasm that Evie was able to have with her smile that's contagious. And even though she's tired, and keeping in dead center of the frame. And Marianne's beautiful smile right now. So everyone's giving the impression, and Kim is saying that we're having a good time. Look at me, I'm smiling, I'm laughing, I'm having a good time. And that's what the meeting is all about. Jim Barber also had that. It's a lot harder when you have like face like that, where you're not interacting. So overall, as a watcher, we're getting very, very good in terms of presenting ourselves, keeping the center screen, stage management, and using our bodies to say something more than just the words coming out of our mouths. Additionally, in terms of the chat monitor, there were a few interesting items that were listed. I indicated one for Evie is that the Unity engine, gaming engine, is going to be incorporated in Apple's new Pro Vision as part of the APIs for creating games. So that's already going to be in there for you. And if you wanted to spend $99 and get an Apple developer license, you'll be able to put your games right there, and they'll have their own store for purchase items. So you can be one of those new millionaires from software. And that's going to come out beginning of January 24. The visual, for those that are not familiar with the Apple Pro Vision, you look through these goggles and you can have the equivalent of a 100-foot screen in front of you. It'll be very dynamic, 3D, and it'll be a lot of fun. Everybody will be full size in front of you, and it'll be an interesting way of having a meeting. That's my report.
Thank you very much, Andy. Regarding the grants, I noticed that you are very advanced speakers. You had almost no grants, so I will give you my report only for prepared speeches. Andy, no grants, and Evie, I just counted 5 up and 1 so, but you did a great job. Great job. Regarding the table topic section, very ingenious. Kim, great section, and you are very good salespeople, because sale things is very difficult, especially if the product is a little bit strange. But you did a great job. You impressed me. And regarding evaluators, Joni and Jim are great evaluators, very experienced, and they always give us an example of how to make a good evaluation, what we are doing great, suggestions to improve, and advice to challenge ourselves. And finally, encourage the speaker to continue. Congratulations. Saying this, I would like to call the vote counter to announce the winners for this meeting. David, the screen is yours.
All right, our winners. Drum roll, please. Table topics. It is Graham.
Woo!
Evaluator, Jim Barber. He's never won that before. And speaker of the evening, and by the way, this one was changing back and forth as the vote came in. It wasn't decided until that very last vote. Is Andriy Smolenko. I would just mention that when we say vote, that means you. I think about half, a little bit better than half the people were actually voting all the way through, but help out so that we have a reasonable poll of the group. Thank you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, David. And I will give back the meeting to our Toastmaster of the Day, Kirtika.
Thank you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Caroline. the authentic passion of every single person who is present in this meeting is out. Connecting the inside to outside is quite difficult. And this meeting has brought us to have a combined effect of being empathetic, become a perfect pitchman, and also to express yourself visually, auditorily, kinesthetically, and digitally. Maybe some of animatory thing is missing. I believe one of our Toastmasters will do few of the animatory by the course of the proceeding. So I am greatly impressed, and I want to have a set up applaud to all the Toastmasters, and I would wish everyone a great day. Over to you, Presiding Officer, Toastmaster DTM Andrew Burke.
Thank you all for a wonderful meeting, for being here. And I believe what we agreed to is that next week will be sort of free-flowing, an end-of-year discussion for those that show up. Encourage those that want to show up to get more information or education about whatever they want to do. And that as we look forward to finding new heights for the club, know that each of you make a significant contribution. And it's sort of like that domino thing where one domino hits another one, and then you have everything going on. The fact that you are all here, each one is a critical element in that experience. As there is one of the speakers a couple of years ago having a 5-star or 7-star Toastmaster experience each and every club meeting. We have that, and we have great evaluations and great participation and great enthusiasm, and that's what keeps our club going. And we look forward to sharing that with others as they come visit our club and join the club. Each of you make a significant contribution. I turn it back over to David if he wants to take any information for next week.
Well, we're not signing people up for next week.